Hey, Matthew Esses here with my Week 13 discussion. Um, Today, or this week, I was supposed to read Chapter 10 in the Undercover Economist and answer these questions. So, this is me answering the questions. Prior to the 1980s, why was China so poor? So, prior to the 1980s, China was poor for many different reasons. They were an isolationist country, so like America used to be an isolationist country where you don't really intervene, you stay back, you don't really trade, you just try to take care of your own. You don't really have very many imports or exports. They were an agrarian society, meaning their economy was based heavily on agriculture, and they had very little manufacturing, which is crazy to think about because today China is known for their manufacturing. Um, and what led to this rapid growth of the Chinese economy after this period is their manufacturing ramped up. They started investing in um, factories, excuse me, factory workers. They started to let companies from overseas come into China, so that kind of ended the isolationist aspect and start building their factories there because like now think about it, like Nike, Adidas, all those big companies, Apple, they all the pharmacy companies, the pharmaceuticals. I think I saw something the other day, like 80% of the United States pharmaceuticals come from China. That's all being produced there now because they ramped up their manufacturing. So that's definitely the biggest part. They got away from the agricultural side. I should have looked up a statistic before this, but they were very heavily based, and all their workers were based agriculturally. They were agrarian, remember. But now many of them are factory workers. And a little, I feel like this plays a little bit part into it is China's minimum wage. They have very, very cheap labor. And so companies want to go over there for that cheap labor. And so that definitely has something to do with the boom. Something I found interesting is how China, instead of producing all their own food now, they switched to exporting their own food, or sorry, excuse me, importing their own food so they can export more, which makes them obviously their GDP is way higher, and they still are able to cut tons of profits even though they're importing more food because they're not producing as much because more people are working in factories and manufacturing. And so that's very interesting to me that that agrarian society is kind of wiped out now for the manufacturing, and they're doing even better than they were before, and they're not producing nearly as much as they were. So that's definitely what I found interesting in the chapter 10 of the Undercover Economist. Thank you.